So welcome to yet another rant with a better piece of equipment, perhaps, than a smartphone. And that's what this whole video is going to be about, is better pieces of equipment than our current status quo system of planned obsolescence can generate. Because where we're at is on the cusp of a scientific revolution. And you don't even hear in the daily press about this. But there have to be more than 10 dozen directions that the scientific revolution can take or is going. That's 120 different distinct parts of the spectrum of the new energy and new science revolution that is currently underway on this planet, and has been, mind you, for decades. I just happen to be one of the proponents of it, one of the exponents of a new scientific paradigm who has practiced both the theory, design, and experimentation aspects of new energy technology. But for the first time in my life, nearing 50 years of age, I am now participating in another area of the new energy dimension, and that is, I am innovating. I'm actually not taking someone else's designs and implementing them in an experimental way. I'm going another step, and I'm innovating a whole new, actually triumvirate direction for this research. I am able now to say with almost 100% certainty that I can incorporate 3 different modes of free energy power generation into a new design. I haven't figured out what to call this design yet, but it will incorporate resonance, it will incorporate variable inertia, and it will incorporate homopolar electrical power generation. These are all known to have somewhat anomalous effects, but the way I'm going to couple them is going to lead to, at least from a quantum perspective, a whole array of force vectors that have never seen one another before. A machine that will couple to the gravity field that may very well couple to that field in such a way that it can generate lift. But more importantly, we are striving to constrain those forces within the device to create spatial distortions that will enhance the production of power. So much so that the machine will be over 100%, even if only slightly, in its efficiency, and therefore be able to run itself as long as we make the couplings and the engineering of the device the way I am conceiving of it. It will not run out of self-generating capacity, I don't know, for 50 to 100 years once you start it running. Now, why is this an important conversation? Well, because it's the antithesis of the fossil fuel discussion, which is everybody always has to pay at the pump if you want to get from A to B. But wait, what about a machine that you have in your basement that runs itself all the time, and you can suck just a tiny little bit of power off all the time to keep your batteries of your electric car charged up, or you can have a battery bank or a supercapacitor bank at your house and run various appliances off of this. Because you're not using power continuously in high amounts. It's when you're cooking dinner, it's when you're watching your entertainment system, when you got the surround sound bumping the walls. That's the thing that take the power. Not just turning on your front porch light while you're asleep at night. That doesn't take a lot of power. nor does your alarm clock, nor does your refrigerator, really, if it's made with the right kind of equipment. But at any rate, what I'm saying is every neighborhood and every home can have its own independent power production system that is not dependent upon the sun, or the wind, or the waves, or geothermal, or some passive influence like the ether. I'm talking about a machine that is running on its own surplus gravitational and electromagnetic potential, coupling those fields in a unique way, utilizing resonances that will also pick up on higher universal frequencies of energy. What we can do is make a machine that may also allow us to experiment on time, but I'm not going to go there in this video because we only have about 3 minutes left to talk about this. But this machine is not only a theoretical design, this machine is a nearly practical reality here in Southern Oregon. Doesn't that make you excited that there's somebody working on something other than a rocket that might actually power, if it had significant surplus energy, or we found ways to tap this machine without causing it to run down, perhaps by altering the resonance factors. Once you start drawing large amounts of power, the drag on the system will then be reflected in a change in the resonant frequency of the system. Therefore, we can have very intelligent torque or torsion feedback loops that will be electronically controlled to allow us to change the resonant frequency as needed whenever this dynamic system is suddenly burdened by drag, as we call it, or back EMF, or whatever you want to call it. If that even happens to this machine in the same way that it happens to other electromagnetic generators, what we can do is try to compensate by bringing it back to resonance, which is usually a place where a machine can function in some kind of homeostatic equilibrium with itself. So where do we stand today? We're probably a minute away from ending this video, and we're probably a year and a half away from building such a machine. The designs are true, the designs are innovative, and I am blessed to be a conduit for these insights, because we're not in anything other than a crisis situation on this planet where free energy and anti-gravity would tip the scales in the other direction. Instead of ecocide, we can return to something more resembling love, honor, respect, the way of Bushido, all across the globe.